Hello, it's February 9th, and I'm going to tell you about the main military news in Ukraine. There were no Ukrainian prisoners of war in the Il-76 that went down near Belgorod, Danilov said. However, Ukraine does not yet have enough information to know whether the soldiers who were supposed to be exchanged that day are still alive. If this really happened, the prisoners were on the plane Ed. The amount of biological material, what is called, let's say, the dead, would be in significant quantities. Replacing Zaluzhny with SYRSKYY is likely to displease the Ukrainian military and the population, The Washington Post has reported. The publication writes that rank-and-file soldiers are not very fond of SYRSKY, whom many consider a Soviet-type commander. He kept troops under fire in Bakhmut for too long, while the city eventually came under the control of the Russian Federation. At the same time, SYRSKY is viewed favorably in the United States. According to U.S. Deputy Defense Secretary Celeste Wallander, he is an experienced, successful commander. We will work effectively with General SYRSKY. We have already worked with him. Wallander was quoted by Reuters as saying, "The lives and health of servicemen have always been and remain the main value of the Ukrainian army." SYRSKY made his first statement as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He also spoke about new tasks. Clear and detailed planning of actions of all military command and control bodies. The fastest and most rational distribution and delivery of everything necessary for combat units. To know all the needs of the front without exception and to be aware of the situation in each area. During the war, SYRSKY proved that he was able to achieve results both in defense and offense. This was evident during the Kiev and Kharkiv operations, as well as other operations he led. The operations conducted by Syrsky probably became the decisive lever that persuaded President Zelensky to choose this particular candidate. And in principle, everything is logical. Because the man has spent the last 10 years at war. And he knows exactly how the army lives and breathes. Writes expert Andriy Mysyliuk. SYRSKY's strengths include the ability to make decisions quickly and take responsibility for them. For example, he ordered the destruction of bridges and the blowing up of a dam on the Irpin River. This stopped the attack on Kiev and became the first turning point in the war. This is a 100% combat general who fights not according to a map from his office, but next to his soldiers. Hopefully, SYRSKY will be able to choose the war strategy that will lead to victory. The expert adds. Pavliuk will replace SYRSKY as the new commander of the AFU ground forces, while Barjalevich will replace Shaptala as head of the AFU general staff. ZN quoted sources in the defense ministry as saying, submissions for appointment by presidential decrees are already being prepared. American journalist Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin was released today. The Russian Federation is buzzing with excitement that an American, a white man, is coming to visit them and will be talking to Putin. All the news over the last few days has been about this, and now they are waiting for the interview. And so are many Americans. This interview could be dangerous for Ukraine. I will explain why. Carlson is popular in the United States. Before the interview, he said that Americans are completely unaware of what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. And the problem is that Carlson himself will not say anything. He will simply broadcast Putin's words to the American audience. It is Putin who will tell Americans what is happening, not Carlson. And Putin always twists the facts in his favor. In short, he lies. In this interview, Putin told the journalist that he had talked to Zelensky about Nazism and told him that Zelensky's father had fought in World War II as an attack aircraft pilot in the Soviet Army. He did not take into account that Zelensky's father was born in 1947. Ukraine was invented by Poles, Ukrainians feel like Russians, Russia was fooled by everyone, we didn't start the war. Putin in an interview with Carlson in front of a multi-million audience. The number of views of the interview on Twitter, X, exceeded 70 million, which is really, really bad. Chief among Putin's false claims. Ukraine is an artificial state created by Stalin's will. The name, Ukraine, was invented by the Poles. Khmelnytsky asked the Russian Tsar to take the Ukrainian lands under his strong hand. Putin even brought letters. Ideas of Ukrainianization of Russians were invented by the Austrian General Staff before World War I. Hitler's cause lives on in the West. NATO was promised not to expand eastward, but was deceived. The entire left bank of the Dnieper, including Kiev, is historically Russian land. We did not agree on this, Ukraine's accession to the EU. After the collapse of the USSR, Russia expected to be welcomed in the West and was deceived. In 2005 and in 2014, Ukraine had a coup d'état supported by Western intelligence services. In 2014, they started a war. Our goal is to end it. Russia was ready to implement the Minsk agreements, and the Ukrainian authorities refused to implement them. Russia is still going to denazify Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine were close to a peace agreement in Istanbul in 2022, but on Johnson's advice, Ukraine backed out. Russian military forces can only be sent to Poland if it attacks first. Moscow is not interested. A blockade of Polish farmers continues on the Polish-Ukrainian border. The reason for the blockade is to cancel the transport visa-free regime for Ukrainians and return the permits for the transportation of goods. The blockade has been going on since November last year. The poster reads, "If you feel hungry, you will respect farmers." Poles are blocking 3 checkpoints on the border. At Shehynia, even passenger cars are not allowed through. That was all the main military news from Ukraine. Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest military news from Ukraine. Goodbye.